There we go. We're recording. Welcome to the Waterfowl East podcast.
Welcome.
We got
Stephen here.
Stevie Murgison and Matthew Wilson. Just doing a couple of us here tonight on this podcast. A few things we wanted to talk about. Got some new podcast gear, so we wanted to test her out.
Yeah, all kinds of new gear. Camera and microphones.
Shitloads of new gear. We're up
everything.
I stopped counting at 10 grand.
Probably a good idea not to pay attention how much money you spent.
It's a lot. It's all I've been doing. It's my newest hobby.
Yeah, spending money.
Yeah. But, you know, we understand that there's a lot of people that really enjoy our podcast, and we want to be able to do more podcasts throughout the year with different people. So we got this PodTrack 4.
Now we can do it wherever.
Yeah, it's super compact, so that'll be really nice to be able to sit.
Yeah, be able to keep doing that.
Down.
Then we can go anywheres. You know, if we want to do it on the road, we want to do it after a hunt, during a hunt.
Exactly.
Wherever.
Yeah, it's not much bigger than your phone, really.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of having the microphones and stuff like that. But once we get that in the case, it'll be
a lot easier.
Not a big deal. And we plan on filming some this year. So if there's people, you know, even people right here in the Maritimes that are involved in the waterfowl industry, or, you know, somebody that you'd like to hear on a podcast, we'd also like to do a question and answer sometime too.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, if you guys got some questions. We've done that in the past and had a really good turnout for people asking questions. So all those things, hit us up on our Facebook page, Waterfowl East, or Instagram if you're on there. Seems like we get a lot more traction as far as messages go and local people on Facebook. But yeah, we plan on doing a lot more. We've got all the stuff now.
Yeah, so hopefully, you know, at least the quality of what we're putting out will be a little better from now on. That's the big thing, you know, the audio and the video, we want to try to be as good as possible.
And more consistent.
More consistent, exactly.
Right, you know, where it's just something that all we got to do is grab the tote and go. Yep. So, you know, coming up, our season is not over. You know, our government has made our season here in New Brunswick 107 days long. Our duck season's 107 days. And actually, I don't know, Steve, if that includes... I think that's just our zone is 107.
Yeah.
And then, but really, zone 1...
Below us, yeah.
Below us, the coastal zone is 15 days later.
Yeah.
Because they always start, our province is broken into 2 zones. They always start 15 days later. So ours is done now, January 15th.
So theirs will be done 1st of February?
Theirs is done the end of January. End of January. Yeah. So, and then we have the special sea duck season in February. So realistically, here in New Brunswick, you could hunt ducks from October 1st until the end of February.
Yeah, with very little traveling, you know, an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours to saltwater.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, if you just wanted to stay inside, I mean, you know, you may or may not get much shooting.
Yeah.
You'd get some, for sure. But heck yeah, I mean, you could really put it on them for that many days if you wanted to.
Don't mind putting the miles on.
Yeah, really. So it's kind of we always talk about how unique it is here. And, you know, now that we're getting some people that are coming here and experiencing that, like...
Sharing what it's like where they live. So, you know, we don't really know what it's like everywhere because you've traveled a lot more hunting than I have, but I haven't really left East Coast as far as waterfowl hunting goes. So it's kind of all I know.
And, I mean, there's no place like home, right? I mean, there really isn't. And you're right. I've traveled, but I haven't traveled as much as certainly some people. Yeah. Like when we have Sean here, Sean Stahl, like he's traveled a lot.
Yeah.
And
or Ramsey.
Well, and then again, there's somebody again that's traveled a lot. And, you know, you get guys like that, especially Ramsey, that's saying, you know, this place is super unique. Like, you know, there's a lot of people that don't even know where this province is from the States. And I think it's gonna gain a lot more traction. I think I've already had some people reaching out from the States, and I hope I get more.
Yep.
You know, I hope I get more because it is very, very unique. And what are we shooting here? Canada geese, black ducks, mallards. You know, and you know, are they the same Canada geese black ducks and mallards that you'd see down the flyway, sure. I mean, a Canada goose, some people would say is a Canada goose, but it's where you do it.
Yeah.
And this place is super unique. I just
Exactly.
absolutely love it here.
Mountain geese,
Mountain geese, that's right. Yeah.
they're referred to.
And more of them all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a good thread on PEI, I think it's called PEI Duck and Goose Hunters, here lately about why they have a 3 bird limit for geese
Yeah.
late in the year. Anyway, I don't know if they ever did come up with a decisive reason. There was a few things there, but I'm not going to actually get into it. It would have actually been a good time for CWS, somebody from CWS to jump on there.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the things that was talked about on there was the migration. And they're like, oh, there's a population of geese that the numbers are real low, like a breeding population of geese that comes through the island. So they don't want to decimate them at that time of year. So, and then other people were like, well, that's not a thing. But what it brought up was to talk about migration and why there's more geese here now than there's ever been. And I chimed in and I said, like, certainly in our area, there's more geese here than there's ever been. And they're different geese too, but there's more corn here.
Yeah, it's more food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, when I was a kid, there were the people that had corn were dairy
Yeah.
farmers.
Silage cut corn early.
So, yeah, absolutely. Early silage cut corn. And you know how much feed there is in that.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable for the long term unless it's bear damage,
Yeah.
which we
there's
have.
a lot of that.
Yeah, there's plenty of plenty of bear. If you're looking to shoot bears, there is some bear hunting outfitters here. So, yeah, but I mean, it's definitely changed things here. So we're getting a lot more birds now. The opportunity that way is
Yeah, well, the grain corn, the later cut stuff now is everywhere. It's every farm seems to have a rotation of it,
yeah,
and it's usually midway through our season, towards the end of our season,
yeah.
So once they've switched from the grain over to that, we're golden until it snows, really.
And I mean, geez, we were starting to get covered up in snow here, like 8 inches of snow on our first snow here, anyways, and then drive 20 minutes upriver. Everything here is measured upriver, downriver, and time. And there was hardly any snow.
Yep.
The water was still warm.
It all melted now on us. Rained hard for a few days. Water come up.
And when I was talking to somebody from government, they were saying about the water level, they were saying right now our predictions are that there's not going to be an increase in the water level because it was super low in our main rivers on our main routes all summer and all fall. Then we got all that snow. Then we got all that rain. Now it's all in the river.
Yeah.
And the river's higher than it's been all
Yeah.
year
Yep.
at the end of the year.
Which is good because it was getting pretty low. Like, I do a lot of fishing over the summer, and there's a lot of places you didn't dare take your boat first time ever. Like, you had to watch out.
Yeah, crazy, yeah. Well, that was the way it was below the dam.
Yeah.
Certainly before that rain. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting how things are changing all the way throughout our flyway. But
But we're staying pretty consistent with the numbers. It seems like every year there's lots of birds moving through, whether or not, they're here quickly or they're kind of getting to hang out, depending on the weather.
but certainly a lot of people are talking about south of us. You'll see oftentimes on the pictures that we post, guys are just like, yeah, birds aren't migrating. They don't migrate anymore. We don't see them, right? Which, to be completely honest, I mean, we've sort of had that talk before. Why would they?
Yeah.
I mean, now they've got open fields to feed in again, anything that never got plowed, which there is a bunch of them around. We know that never even got chiseled. So if there's birds around and they got open water, I mean, it's certainly this time of year they don't mind flying.
Yeah.
But this is generally the time of year when we travel. You know?
Everything's froze up. Normally we have a good cover of snow or pretty close.
Yeah, and we've got still some ducks around. Most of our Canada geese are gone. So most of our geese, I mean, that's basically all we have here is Canada's. And so we start to travel. I've been to PEI. I was over there hunting with Jeff Coates and Paul McKinnon and Walter Vesey and Blair McLeod. And it's always good to get over there and do a little hunting. And even though it's similar to where we are here, because they're really not that far, it is still very different because they're all coastal, right? But even on the island, like where I hunt with Walton Blair is very different from where I hunt with Paul.
Yeah.
And the birds are even different, in the way that they look and whatnot. So, very cool place. I had a great time over there. We shot a lot of black ducks. And then the next day, we actually ended up getting into a lot of gadwall.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And some barrows, golden eyes, which was cool, and some commons. So that was really cool. But that was trip number 1. But we're going on a first time trip here for you and the rest of the crew. I mean, Rowan's been over there when he was young, deer hunting with me, but
I've never been to Graham and Ann. Brad, I don't think's ever been to Graham and Ann.
So we're heading over to Graham and Ann, New Brunswick, to do
the big island of Graham and Ann.
Yeah, to do a little eider hunting. So while you're talking there, I'm gonna look that up and see what the population is. But have you checked into what the place is like? Looked it over?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on Google Maps, as I usually do. Checked out the island. I realized there's a lot of salmon cages. When you actually look right on the map, you can see looks like hundreds of them surrounding the island. And it's going to be super cool to get down there, and hopefully the wind kind of holds off for us so we can actually get out in the boat and do a little hunting. But
as of 2021, the population of Graham and Ann Island was 2,595.
Yeah.
So, and there's also some other islands outside of that too, right? Like White's Head Island, where there's people live on those islands. You take another ferry over to them. But, it's a pretty cool spot. It'll be really interesting for you guys because never being there, you don't know what to expect, right?
Exactly.
But, we're going over with Tony Huckins.
Yep.
Looking to get into some eiders.
And you've done it before with him, right?
I've hunted sea ducks with him. We've never hunted eiders.
Okay.
So the way that I met Tony was just through dog training. He's got a couple dogs there. He's a really passionate waterfowler and loves his dogs and wanted some information. So we started talking back and forth because I have maritime dog training. And, was sending information back and forth. And we ended up last year, I just got a hold of him. I said, look, we've always talked about going to Graham and Ann hunting, and said, I don't need you to show us any of your go-to spots. I'm like, just show us someplace where we're not going to perish when we put our boat in the water. And he's like, better yet, why don't you just come over and I'll take you out.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, great. We'll certainly make it worth your while. That would be awesome. Cause my brother and I have gone over there deer hunting lots and we just freelanced and that was great. But so we went out and that was in February. So we couldn't shoot eiders, but we really did get into the old squaw. The population of old squaw last year and apparently this year is unreal.
Hopefully we'll get into those too, right?
Yeah. Long tails, I guess people call them. But so we're hoping when we go over this time, we're really after the eiders.
Yeah. So what else should we expect to see over there for ducks?
We should be looking at common eiders. Now, there's a couple different types there. When you look at the lobes on their beak, some of them are, I could butcher this and get it wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Borealis eider. So they're just a different sort of subspecies of eiders. And we should be looking to get into some old squaw. We should be looking to get into a few scoters, probably mostly white wings. There is some surfs around, but we don't have as many commons and surfs as like possibly Nova Scotia would have, or, Jeff Coates really gets into them down in Maryland. He shoots a lot of scoters.
And it's funny because we're right in between. Really?
Nova Scotia, you mean? Yeah, in New Brunswick, yeah.
Yeah.
Graham and Ann, if you look it up, is an outstanding location, and it's really one of those places that eiders love to stop. So, with the current state of the eider population and their worry about their food source, and, they have some other ideas as to why the population is not as great as maybe it once was. We're just never sure how long that season's going to be around. And I've been blessed to shoot them back when you could shoot a full limit of them, right? But
we're down to 2 now, I think, their limit.
Now the limit is 2, and they're just really, if you've never hunted eiders, like I mean, brant live on the ocean, and they're the goose of the ocean. But realistically, an eider is a close second. They're a big, hardy, rugged bird. You know, they're dense. You get one of them in your hand, they're a big, rugged bird. You know, and you know, you're just not going to shoot them everywhere. So it's
different.
They're just really a magnificent bird. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
That's kind of what's nice where we live right here in the valley. Like within an hour, 2 hours drive, you can hunt so many different ways for waterfowl, from dry field to a marsh to the ocean to the river to, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. You could literally shoot ducks and geese in a cornfield in the morning. And then, you know, really, if you wanted to,
Hook the boat on
and go after eiders. You know,
yeah.
it's a pretty unique place where we are here, so we're pretty blessed. But that's what we're looking to get into.
Yeah,
mostly some scoters, probably lots of old squaw, which are a really cool bird because they're quite vocal.
Yeah,
probably
watch some videos of them flying around. Just neat listening to them.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a weird sort of a sound. I remember the first time we heard it, we were boating out in the dark, and I was like, what is that noise? And at the time, there was tons of them, like a huge raft of them, right? But they're an absolutely gorgeous bird, you know. You get one of those in your hand, it's just unreal, right? It's like the pintail of the sea kind of thing. So, and they say that they're one of the most populated ducks there is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, apparently, to be quite honest. So it'll be a good experience for you guys.
Yeah, it'll be something different, and, you know, maybe something else to add to the taxidermy list. I've already got a few birds in the freezer, so what's one more?
Yeah, I've got a bunch down there too. You know, and I don't have enough of it on my walls. Like, I've got no excuse for not having more. I've got those brant over there that I got in Rhode Island, but I have those Rowan's got a couple birds there, and I've got those, whatever you'd want to call them, blonde Canadas.
I really wonder what they are for a bird. Like, are they like a blonde Canada? Are they some kind of a hybrid?
There's so Woody over there on the island, he was talking about the fact that maybe I should cut a piece off their tongue and send it off.
Yeah.
So they can try and do a genetic test on it, which, I mean, they don't need the tongue, right?
No.
He's going to jerk that out of there anyway.
Yeah.
So that might be a good idea.
If we could find somebody,
to figure it out. Well, he gave me a name, somebody from CWS. It's a bander, but I think there is a guy in the States, and he knew him.
Yeah, because they're definitely unique.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's Jeff Wood. He was telling me about that. So, and we're seeing more of that stuff. But now the other interesting thing was that they were talking about a lot of mallards now are interbred with farm mallards, like game farm mallards, you know?
Yeah.
So when we're looking at these blonde mallards, and I might butcher this too, but I think that's leucistic.
Yeah.
Mallards, like some people are saying that a lot, there's a true mallard is getting to be a more rare thing.
Well, what in our little area, there's been 3 shot in 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
Statistically, they say it's like 1 in 10,000 or something like that. It's that white pigmentation. So it seems odd just that there's so many in our area. Is there something going on, or is it like you're saying? Is there just a crossbreeding going on somewheres?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it doesn't.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm like, how can that be?
Yeah,
you know.
Well, last year we hunted a field. Literally across the road from where we were hunting was a pond that the farmer had just free range ducks, but they were from Europe. Remember, we were sitting there watching him, and he rolls up and make sure not to shoot those ducks. I was like, well, I was thinking about it.
Right, yeah.
I can't even remember what it was. It was something from Europe. He just had a couple of them in his pond, just free, free ranging. So it'd be nothing for some wild ducks to land in there in the spring. And there you go. Got some new cross species from the UK.
Yeah, and you're starting to see more and more of that. And I mean, down like in New England and down this eastern seaboard, there's lots of that, right? Those game farm mallards where they, it's just like a driven hunt almost, or like a tower shoot for pheasants, So they've been doing that for years, and they, if they don't get them, well, then they just go out to the wild.
Yeah, grab some.
Yeah, and they interbreed with the wild ducks. So
It was neat this year. I'm getting more into paying more attention to what they are. Like the black ducks, it's neat to see the crossbreeding that was explained to me this year, where you're starting to see the white in their wings.
yeah,
That's something I never would have noticed before, but now that it's been pointed out to me, you can really see the two different species of black duck, basically. One's a true black duck with all the colors, and then the other one, you can kind of see the white integrated into the wings. And
what was that? Who told you that?
it might have been, I can't remember now. It was one of the guys that were up this year. I might say Ramsey, but it might have been before that.
It might have been Ramsey.
It might have been Ramsey. He was all about his black ducks, and he was just explaining. And when we were looking at him, I could see what he was talking about.
It was Ramsey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he flipped the wing over and
Yeah.
he said something about them there.
Yeah. Something about the white, and there's a band that you'll get between the wings, between the colored part and just the normal darker part.
Yeah.
You'll get a white band in there sometimes too, which when he pointed it out, it was obvious. Like you could see it, they were different. And who knows what that is about? Is it a mallard cross? Is it just a new black duck abnormality, or
Well, when Jeff Wood and I were talking over there, I said, and Jeff does a fair amount of banding on the island and stuff. I said, there's no banding that goes on in this area.
Yeah.
Like north of Fredericton, doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And there's lots of opportunity for somebody from CWS or Ducks Unlimited or whoever, Delta or whoever, to come here and do a little bit of research.
We shot 2 ducks this year that were banded in Oromocto?
Oromocto,
yeah. Which is the closest really we've ever had. We had a few banded over in Fort Fairfield, I think, Maine.
Yeah, I was surprised because we've never, I don't have any duck bands that are from Oromocto.
Yeah.
So you think about that. It was shot there this summer and then came north.
Yeah. Flew 2 hours, hour north to us,
Right.
in 6 months.
When it was already there, and that's kind of where it nested and whatever. And probably from there should have been going the other way,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we shot 2 of them 2 weeks apart or a week apart.
Yeah.
Different, same valley, but, different fields, different areas.
Yeah.
Shot one out of a pond right next to the river, and then shot the other one out of a field.
Yeah. But, I mean, again, as it stands right now, like last night, we did get a couple black ducks, but a week ago, there was that whole roost right there was 90% black ducks. Yeah. And now they could have been there. They were using a different part of that field where we went with Shoel's group there up on the hill. Yeah. That's where they wanted to be.
Okay, right up top.
Yeah. So,
in all the bear damage.
Exactly. Yeah. Which makes perfect sense. And every one of them that we shot already had corn in it.
Yeah.
So, they're just going through the motions, maybe trying to get a little more snack before they survive the night. Yeah. But, no, it's very interesting with the amount of different birds we're seeing coming through here and starting to get a few more bands, but nothing from here.
No.
And there is an opportunity there. But it would be interesting to send those tongues away.
Yeah, because it's definitely something's different. Like you don't see those anywhere. It's like I've never seen people posting pictures of them or anything like that. Like that's a really unique bird, both of them.
Yeah.
That white and just like they took the color pigmentation, just turned it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's neat to see the feathers all more black, but the actual main body a little more white.
But again, just before we move on to something else, the power of corn now, it's clear across North America, people talking about it, right? I mean, it's certainly in the States with all the impalements.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have that here. But, I mean, in those situations, why would they leave?
Yeah.
If they've got water and feed and people aren't shooting them, they're basically farming ducks.
Yeah.
Like, why would they migrate? And as it stands right now, I mean, they were in the perfect position to migrate. And now there's not a speck of snow here.
Yeah.
And all this week, it's going to be warm.
Yeah, it'd be above freezing, I think, tomorrow.
Yeah. All week, basically, till towards the end of the week. So, and it's actually Tuesday. Tuesday would be a good day to be out there because it's going to rain and be warm. So, they're going to be hammering it.
Be around.
Yeah, absolutely. Be concentrated for sure. So, how's the dog making out?
Good. We're still working with her. I think she's making great progress. She's still a crazy puppy, but I feel like I'm getting somewheres. We've been coming over to you quite a bit for the force fetching, trying to that's definitely, I've hit a wall, not really hit a wall with that. I'm just nervous on how to progress with it and actually do it properly. Like, because having her here and having her on the table and stuff definitely makes a big deal, like a big difference. But it's something that you need to have kind of concreted in to continue on my training, because everything else is going to build off of that.
And well, force fetch isn't something that can be done halfway.
Yeah.
Lots of people don't even do it.
Yeah.
Or they do it halfway and they think they got it okay, but you got to have that solid. And it's such a sort of labor intense process, because, you know, you work on hold, you do that work on the table, you work on fetch and ear pinch on the table, and moving them back and forth on the table, you know what I mean, making them lunge and pick it up, and then you do all that work off the table. Then you do walking fetch, then stick fetch, then, you know, if you didn't collar condition, then you collar condition, and then you finish that off with collar fetch. But normally I collar condition
We
before.
did it nice and early.
Yeah, collar condition before, and then you finish it up with collar fetch. So it's a big process, and for people that don't know, that's why you got to go to somebody that
does.
that does know.
Yeah.
And again, the more that you can get here,
Yeah.
and the more time for anybody else out there that you can spend with somebody that's done it, even if you have to drive there every day, like,
It's worth it.
you know, it's literally the foundation of your home. You know, it's well worth whatever it's going to take you for time and fuel to get to where you need to be.
Do all this work just to have the dog drop the bird at my feet every time.
Right, which is not what you need. You can go out and pick it up basically
exactly,
yourself,
at
right?
that point. So, you know, and that's where I'm at right now. I've got a lot of her basics and stuff like that all down pretty good, but I'm having a hard time compounding it all together, because as soon as she's got a bird or a bumper in her mouth, she's only doing one command. She's only heeling, she's only sitting, she's only fetching. She won't do it all together. So that's where I'm still working through the force fetch.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, you have to manage your expectations with that, right? Because, I mean, there's lots of people. There was a time I didn't even retrieve
Yeah.
through the process, because
Yeah.
I felt like it was just, and some people still don't.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it was going to give the dog the opportunity to drop it, which it does.
It does.
But, and nowadays, these dogs, like, you're not going to break their retrieving desire. They're bred so high octane that,
she's,
you know,
loves it.
the whole point of, you know, not steadying them, you know, so that you give them that desire to go and retrieve, like, that's more than in there, you know.
I've been working hard on the steadiness, and that is not stopping her a bit from wanting to get that bird. I make her sit there for 5 minutes, and she's still going to hit that bird or that bumper just as hard as if I let her go right away. She, you know, she'd do it till she dropped at this point.
Well, they need to learn patience.
Yeah.
These dogs need to learn steadiness from a puppy. I mean, unless your dog is, you know, sort of a slug or a pork chop with no sort of natural retrieving desire. I mean, nowadays you don't need to be letting them go when the bird is halfway through the arc. Like,
exactly.
As long as you're doing it on low cut grass, these dogs are like drag cars. They're going to get out there and they're going to get that damn bird, or they're going to get that bumper with a wing on it or whatever. So, you know, but force fetch, man, that's so important to get that right.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So I've been working through that. I mean, I feel like she's been doing good. She's probably 9 months old now.
Yeah.
You know, I've been getting through a lot of the basics and stuff like that. I've got her, so we go out every day, you know, twice a day, do a little bit of training, a little bit of healing, a little bit of fetch, a little bit of, you know, three-handed casting, I think it's called.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of that. It's, you know, it's a lot. It's not something you're just going to do 2 or 3 days a week if you want to progress on it. It's something I'm trying to spend, you know, half hour, an hour, 2 sessions at least a day on.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes I could definitely use to do more. Most days you could use to do more, but sometimes it's hard. Well, it's always hard to find the time, but, you know, really make it and focus on it.
Well, one of the tough things here too is we're kind of held up by not even so much the snow as much as the ice.
Yeah, the ground freezing.
You know what I mean? We're kind of hamstringed by that. Like, if we lived in the south and had water almost 12 months a year or 12 months a year, that would make things a heck of a lot easier for us to progress with our dogs through that program, because, you know, our water season is short. Like, our water was cold this year till June.
Yeah.
Real cold.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, then, like, just the ground freezing. The last month, I've been struggling with training her just because of her feet. The ground gets frozen and hard, and I go out and I even do just a little bit of obedience, and her feet are bleeding. There's cuts and stuff, and
yeah. See, we didn't run any dogs last night. Wes was going to take his dog, and he said, do you mind if I bring them? I said, no, not at all. I said, I'm not bringing mine.
Yeah.
Just because, it's a chiseled field, and man, when it gets that moisture in
Yeah.
it and it freezes, it's like, it's hard.
Yeah.
You run across it just in your boots, and I mean, there's no give to that.
Yeah.
Good chance to get injured,
Well,
if
my grass yard, she's cutting her feet on.
yeah, like if it was this field across the road, that cornfield
Yeah.
that's not chiseled or anything, that would be different. There'd be a little bit of cushion there from all the chaff and everything where it's grain cut, but outside of that, man, it's friggin' hard on their feet.
Yeah, and exactly. And it's something we kind of learn right away, I guess, as a handler. Is a lesson right there about not, just because your dog wants to and is willing to do something doesn't mean you should always allow it or should always put it in that situation.
Well, it's about thinking long term.
Yeah.
Preservation. Like, does your dog need to pick up every bird? No. Do they need to go every day? No, they don't. Like, I love hunting with my dogs. I obviously when we're guiding, we're 40 days without firing a shot.
Yeah.
Like, I love hunting with my dogs, but I will not put my dogs in a situation that's going to hinder them or their health for the sake of picking up a bird. I just know better now. I just know there's days like last night. I just knew it wasn't a good spot. Again, had it been over here in that grain cut corn, that'd have been fine. I would have run them in that, but not in that chiseled.
No.
It would have been hard on their feet for sure. And I don't want to. So you take them out that once, and then they're laid up, right?
Yeah,
They're sore or whatever.
exactly.
For what? Like,
Yeah, just go get a bird.
yeah. As much as I want to take them, I'm thinking about, possibly the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Maybe someplace else. There is still fields around here that aren't plowed, so you never know. I'm really hoping that we can continue.
Yeah.
Unless we get a dump of snow.
Which nothing in the forecast. So
If we could, geez, I mean, we've always gone to the end of December.
Yeah.
But
I'd shoot a duck Christmas Day.
hell yeah, me too.
Christmas duck.
Yeah, shit, yeah. I'd like to shoot one in January.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd still like to get into some geese. I'm hoping.
Find some somewheres.
The next trip after that is going to be to Nova Scotia. Always go there to Nova Scotia with Julian. And years past, we've definitely got into the geese there. And I'd love to have a few for stuffers. Like, I'd like to bring maybe 10 home. I think that's what I got for bodies. I took my other ones apart. They lasted a long time,
Yeah, it'd be cool to have a few stuffer decoys to hunt over.
They probably lasted 12 years.
Yeah.
I made them.
Yeah.
I don't I put them together.
Well,
And-
nothing looks as good as the real thing as the real thing.
yeah. And I mean, it doesn't mean they're always going to work.
Yeah.
But you go any place, like certainly Prince Edward Island, where they hunt a lot of geese. They have a rich history of it there. That's what they do. That's their jam, waterfowl, and their big game is coyotes. Like, there's guys there that have huge trailers full, but they don't always use them.
Yeah.
Some days it's silhouettes that are going to work better. Damn, you're not going out right now. I'm doing a podcast. Can't you see that?
So impatient.
What's the matter with you? Act like you know things. You don't have to actually know them. Just act like you do. Thank you. See, that was polite, right?
Yeah.
It's good
Trying
communication
to
to
get
the
him to
dog.
understand.
He
Yeah.
seems like he understands, doesn't he?
I think so.
His feelings don't look hurt. So
You'll find out he shits on the floor.
he's a boy. He wouldn't do that. He's a good boy. But yeah, so that'll be. I'm a firm believer in that, having an arsenal, and it's just, like when we used to hunt over those homemade silhouettes and stuff. There's just something about it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you know that, like, we've got a full trailer of gear out there. Could use those avians,
Yeah.
or could run that big jag of Big Al's, or I mean, lots of times at the end of the season, that's all we've been running. That's all I ran last night.
Silhouettes, yeah.
I ran 3 dozen Big Al black ducks.
Yep.
And I mean, at times, when you watch our videos this year and you look at that spread, like almost every hunt we ran Big Al, black duck, silhouettes. And man, you could see them
Yeah.
for a mile.
They do stand out nice compared to the full bodies, the regular ones. I don't know if it's just the color of them or what, but they really pop.
Big time, big time. They're I love them, and certainly later in the year when we decided to kind of switch things up, like we're always kind of mixing in some of those silhouettes just to make a contrast. Sometimes we run big spreads and we use a lot more of them. Sometimes we just use a few full bodies like our lessers and a lot more silhouettes. But at the end of the season, we've been using, I don't know, since probably the third week in November, we've been using almost all silhouettes.
Yeah, having just as good or better luck.
Yeah, it's just, you're just constantly trying to, especially when you're hunting the same birds, you're just constantly trying to change things up.
Yeah, keep them guessing.
And he's got a process with his decoys too about the shine. So it's something to look into if you're in the silhouettes. Put them all out.
Yeah, see how they look in the sun. And
Who's shine more than others?
Yeah.
Everybody says that they all shine because it's a flat surface. Well, some shine way more than others, So, anyhow. Anything else, Stevie?
No, I'm good on that, I guess. Everything's going good with the dog. I can't wait for next year to have her out. Should be ready. Got to make sure I'm going to be ready, so.
Yeah, I'll have Ruby ready too.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to possibly move her into senior this year if she's ready. She did a good job last year, and I'm just not in the habit of pushing dogs anymore.
Yeah.
Ruby's a great dog. She's got a really good temperament. She's very intelligent. Very intelligent. So I'm looking forward to this winter. I plan to take her over to Laura's barn.
Yeah.
And
it's a good spot to work them in there.
Oh shit, yeah. To put her through pile work and double T, and should be able to do some shorter pattern blinds in there. So yeah, be able to get her through the land part, and then once the water warms up, swim by.
Yeah.
And
hopefully get some water. I was by the pit this afternoon. I usually train in, and there's not very much water in there right now.
Is that right?
It's low. Even after that rain, it's the lowest it's ever been.
Huh. That's weird.
You have a hard time finding a spot for a dog to swim.
No way.
Yeah.
Wonder if something...
Still all up. Like nobody's dug it out or nothing, but there's no water there. The brook beside it's still running, but...
Weird.
Yep. Usually it's deep. Usually you'd get, 10 feet or more in the middle, but I don't think there'd be enough for a dog to swim right now. Well, it was a dry summer. Didn't get no rain.
Yeah.
The spring was early. No snow last winter.
You would have thought that rain would have filled it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, finding good water is always a challenge, and there's definitely a few places around here that are safe that I know that...
Yeah. Always hold water.
We always go, so... But, yeah, so, as I said at the start of this, we're going to be doing a lot more interviews this year. We've got a whole list of people, but if you have ideas of people that we should interview, we are going to do some Q&As, and we may even say at this point we'll do one a quarter, so that we can make sure that we get lots of questions, give people lots of time to think stuff up.
Lots of talking points and stuff's nice.
Yeah, and if we get lots, we can make it into a 2-part, so it's not super long.
Yeah. We're going to try to hopefully get a podcast or two in during our trip in Grand Manan.
Yeah, with this new podcast recorder, it's smaller, easier to take, and like I say, bought a bunch of new gear this year, so any of these trips, this trip, we did one over in Prince Edward Island with Jeff Coates and Sweet Paul McKinnon, so we'll do one with Tony over in Grand Manan, and then when I go to Nova Scotia, hopefully you and Brad can come. If you can't, that's okay too, but
try to work it out.
Do a podcast over there too, see if we can't run into some people. I really like Ramsey's really sort of inspired me to look for, like, when I was over to the island, I was like, holy shit. Like when I went in to see Danny Clark, I was like, should be doing a podcast with Danny.
Yeah.
What an opportunity that'd be.
Yeah.
A
little bit of, he's done everything. He's been all over, and, the taxidermy and stuff.
Cheapers, I guess.
This place is full.
Yeah. I mean, the guy, I don't know how many birds he would mount in a year, but it's a shitload.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
We're going to probably also be doing some giveaways with Kent. We still have on their Kent Direct website, We still have the discount code WE10. So be sure to use that at checkout and give you a 10% discount. Anything you buy on there. And I'm sure we'll be doing some giveaways with them this year. We have in the past. So
Yeah, we'll try to keep the podcasts and everything, start getting some of that content we've recorded over the last year rolled out this winter. Get some YouTube videos, and been trying to pump the social media. We've been doing quite a bit of Instagram.
yeah, absolutely. Lot more reels. Literally bought, again, like I say, I quit counting at 10 grand.
A nice camera and some nice audio equipment.
Yeah. Cameras, audio
Yeah.
equipment, podcast equipment, computers.
Yeah.
We've got the gear.
Yeah.
We're going hard. So lots to come. Stay involved. Keep watching. And definitely connect with us. There's things you want to see, things you'd like us to talk about, people you'd like us to interview. Let us know. We like to see all the messages and all the communication from people that are watching this far and wide. So
Yeah, don't hesitate. Tell us where you're listening from too, on social media and stuff like that. It'd be cool to see where we're actually reaching just outside of, we know we got some people in the valley in our area, but
and wherever you're listening, like if you're on iTunes or, Spotify, any of that stuff, make sure that you rate and review. That really helps.
So it'll pop up for other people to see that, recommended and all that stuff. Help share it around.
Yeah, because again, we've been doing this for a long time, but with the TV show going on, all the things we've got going on here now for media wise, like
well, season 1 of Waterfowl East should be available now on demand on Wild TV. So if you go on the app, you should be able to watch all the episodes just as you want now.
yeah.
So for anybody that's into that.
Wild TV Plus app.
Yep.
If you have a smart TV, you can get it on there, or you can get it on your phone
Yeah.
as well and watch that. Northeast Untamed, our other show, is on there as well, but we don't intend on slacking.
Yeah, we're going to try to get another season out for next year, try to get some more YouTube videos, and
Yeah,
we're doing it, so we might as well record it. And
absolutely. The Guide Life will be going again. There's lots. So the TV show, the podcast, social media, reels, posts, possibly some contests quarterly.
Yeah.
And YouTube, we have a lot of content that needs to go out. So
And we've done a lot of filming last year and this year. We've got a lot of footage to go through.
yeah, absolutely. So
Especially this year. We really stacked it on this year.
yeah. So stay tuned. We have a ton of stuff coming up. And for everybody that does listen and has supported us in the past and continues to, we love and appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.